Hola, el tema de esta presentación es possessive adjectives. En inglés, possessive adjectives son palabras como my, your, his, her, our, their, etc. Remember, possession is when someone owns something. So today we're going to be talking about how to say that someone owns something. So here are the possessive adjectives in Spanish. So you can tell that I have them organized by boxes. So instead of saying I, we have my. Instead of you, it's your, and so on. So you've likely seen these before. If you want to save yourself some writing, note that the plural boxes, there's plural versions, it's just adding an S to all the singular versions. So if you want to write these down now, you can, or if you want to wait a minute, I'm going to explain when to use each box. So the first rule you should pay attention to, the owner determines the box of a possessive adjective. So for instance, let's say we're trying to say her dog. So, her is singular, her is this box, so that's how I know to pick Sue. So the actual box, like yo to LAO instead, is determined by the owner. The next point is that whether or not I should use the singular chart or the plural chart is determined by the object. So here, dog is singular, so I should use the singular chart. However, let's say now the girl owns multiple dogs. Her dogs. So if it's her dogs, I'm going to use the plural chart now because dogs are plural. So even though her is singular, one person, I still have to use the plural chart because dogs, the item that's being owned, is plural. So the item has to agree in terms of singular and pluralness. If my possessive adjective is nuestro, or nuestra, vuestro, vuestra, so ours or y'all's in Spain's, then you also have to make it agree in gender. So for instance, if I'm trying to say our cousin or our aunt, our cousin, nuestro primo, versus our cousins, we add the S because cousins is plural, and we have to make it agree in terms of singular and pluralness with the item. Also then, if it were to become feminine, I have to change that O to A. But that's only for nuestro. So mark down that nuestro is weird like that. Nothing else is weird except for vuestro, which you most likely won't be using. Then another example up here I have with mi primo, mis primos. When the item that's owned is plural, then I have to make my possessive adjective plural. Just a quick note, possessive adjectives always go before the nouns they modify. So this is equivalent to English, like I could say, your boyfriend, your comes before boyfriend, my comes before boyfriend. Last point for today, in Spanish, apostrophe S does not exist. Highlight this is a very common mistake that people make for like their first couple years of Spanish. So get into your head that there is no apostrophe S in Spanish. Like, I have the Spanish keyboard on my computer and literally there is no apostrophe key on the keyboard. So that's why when I was typing this slide, I had to use a weird accent mark key because there was no apostrophe key on my keyboard. So true story. Apostrophe S does not exist. So instead you have to say it is of the person. So instead of saying Lupe's cookies, apostrophe S, I have to say the cookies of Lupe, which in Spanish would be Las Galletas de Lupe. Remember, de, of means day, or day means of. It can also mean from. So another example here, Marisol's aunt, la tía de Marisol. So I have to say the aunt of Marisol. The teacher's problems, the problems of the teacher. So when saying no apostrophe S, they is like the equivalent of apostrophe S. And we do say things like this sometimes in English. So in English, it wouldn't sound unusual to say something like the streets of the city. So really, the city is owning the streets. However, we're just saying it in a fancy way, backwards. So remember, there's no apostrophe S in Spanish if you're trying to do it that way. Here's the how to say possessive adjectives, so like my, your, his, her, etc. And remember, you have to pick singular if the item that's being owned is singular, plural chart if the item that's owned is plural. Hasta luego.